A patient of mine went overseas for a cheap and inexpensive hair transplantation, and what he came back with is heartbreaking. He had an over-harvested donor site, loss of trust that a safe and effective hair transplantation would be completed. He went overseas just to get a touch-up, but left with a scalp that was severely traumatized. But here's the thing, and here's the hope. I think he still has a chance. In this video, I'm going to break down what went wrong. It's mind-blowing and why these types of cases are on the rise. I'm going to give my realistic but hopeful plan to give him a second shot at looking and feeling like himself again. Those who are new to the channel, I'm Dr. Daniel A. Daniel, MD. I've performed over 4,500 hair transplantation procedures, and I have personally extracted and placed millions of grafts done by my own hands. So let's unpack what really happened here, and I'll share how I plan to help this patient recover what he's lost. My first reaction when I saw this patient, I was just shocked, and I was really sad for him. He's just a great guy. So here's a picture of his deleted donor site. You can see that he had a previous strip procedure, so that hair around the strip was not taking in as much density. But you can see above and below and to the sides of the temporal areas that there has been extensive extraction of donor hair, which has left him with visible balding, which is unnatural and was not really what he signed up for, not at all. You could just kind of give us a history of things and how you're feeling.
Certainly surprised to see where I'm at 2 months later, where the donor area in the shape that it's in wasn't something I was expecting at this point. Still, we've got some time to see what's happening, but I'm obviously here in the office today to try and figure out how we can monitor this, see what we can do to promote potentially some hair growth back there, speed up recovery, and those kind of things.
One of the biggest issues that I see in hair restoration is that the people doing procedures, especially if they're not physicians, do not have the accountability and the decision-making that is required to make the hair restoration safe and effective. And in this situation, the shocking thing to me is that there was absolutely poor decision-making in over-harvesting this donor site and really placing him in a very bad position and giving him a very unnatural, damaging look. My second reaction was really just sympathy and really wanting to help. And I explained to him that this is going to be somewhat of a long journey, and we will hopefully come up with a solution that works for him and restore what he's lost. The main reason I want to speak out, particularly from this case, is that I see over-harvesting a lot. Some of the graft counts that some of these overseas clinics do is way too big. And in my hands, in my experience, I do not over-harvest my patients. And there is kind of a mechanism that we use, and it's called medical decision-making and experience, that makes it safe for our patients. But the other thing is we do transparent billing, where we do our final billing on the day of the procedure, because honestly, I don't know how many grafts I can safely get out at one time. You have to keep in mind that most patients have anywhere between 2,000 and about 6,000 follicles that you can extract lifetime from a head donor site. I've had a few patients that have had mega donor sites where they have had more than 6,000 grafts extracted. When you start getting over, especially the 4,000 mark, you are at a point where the patient is at risk for severe over-harvesting. In this case, he had already had approximately 3,500 grafts, maybe up to 4,000, between the FUE procedure that I completed and a prior strip procedure. Going overseas, he had over 4,000 grafts additionally extracted from his donor site. So that puts him into the 8,000 range which is mind-blowing to me. It's just absolutely atrocious. At this point, my strategy to repair this situation with the over-harvesting in the donor site is to actually do some more harvesting. So as you can see from the pictures, there is a rim of thick hair that's never been harvested that is between where the grafts are on top and where the donor site has been extracted. And it's my goal to continue with medication management to prevent further hair loss with finasteride and minoxidil, particularly because we're going to be moving and utilizing follicles in the transition zone to be placed back into the donor site. Hopefully, we'll have a positive recap video to share for this patient when we finish up and actually restore what's been lost. The next aspect is that this probably is going to require some extraction from other donor sites, including the beard, possibly the chest or abdomen. The number of grafts is yet to be determined because he's only about 2 or 3 weeks from the procedure, and I'm hopeful that there might be some regrowth, and any planned surgery is still going to be about 6 months from now. I think the main message that I want to get across with this video is the fact that hair transplantation is an extremely difficult procedure to complete, and it can't be taken lightly. This is not something that can be washed off. I mean, you are making a permanent change to your appearance, either positive or negative. So you need to take this seriously and do your research. Look for red flags such as bad reviews, obviously, strong sales pitches to get you in. I think if clinics are throwing out a very low price per graft and trying to get you hooked on cost versus quality, I think that's another red flag. And also the bait and switch, where there's no physician involved either at the consultation and particularly at the procedure. You need to have a physician leading the team to make the right decisions so that you have the best results and minimal complications. For those watching this video that have maybe regret from having hair transplantation or have some work that needs to be corrected or fixed, I think it's something that we can help you with. If you have any questions about your own case or someone you know, drop a comment. I personally read and respond to each one.